Hello, everybody. Good morning. So, I finally processed all of these things that are going on in the media, and it really never affected me like on a physical level, visceral level. Um, I mean, it did and it didn't. I mean, it sucks to watch some of the videos. Like, I did watch a bunch of videos in the beginning, and then some of those videos have become so violent, and oh God, the intense extreme emotions of hurting people is just, it's like I can't watch certain movies because the amount of violence, so I could not watch violence in real life. So I just, stopped watching those videos. And then I'm like, you know what? This is a type of manufactured whatever. I mean, it really is. Because there are extreme imbalances out there, and it happens in all walks of life. Okay? And so I've noticed that people, even in my world, they say they love and they hate something. Well, I'm making a correlation that actually love and hate are like racism and discrimination. People have no idea that those words are to explain imbalances in the body, mind, and spirit, separated by politics, religion, and science. Well, what the hell does that mean? Well, okay, when you love something, what does that mean? You look up the word love and it's an intense affection. You look up the word hate, it's a passionate dislike. They're not very different. These are meanings applied to a gut visceral reaction to things that you are applying meaning to because you have an imbalance. When you, like, I've seen people say that they hate Trump. Well, then I come back and say, well, why don't you say you love Trump? There's no difference. It's a passionate feeling towards someone or something. If you really want to, if they really don't matter, then you would have indifference. But no, it's the same thing. Anytime you have an intense gut visceral reaction to something, it comes from imbalances in your body, mind, and spirit. And then politics, religion, and science will go and separate it and then say, okay, well, your gut physical reaction against these behaviors, which they will call Democrat or they'll call Republican, because Democrat and Republican are not about belief systems when you think about it. It's about behaviors that manifest into then what people would want to call a belief system, because you are what you exemplify, and then people apply meaning to your physical mechanisms of your everyday life, what you put your money to, when you go to work, why you go to work, who you go to work for, and then people verbalize. And even when people verbalize, when you ask them, well, why do you hate this or why do you love this? And they say, because they do this, 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 and for me. So you have two people with the same action, okay? And two people will have a meaning applied to that action. They will love that person for, let's say, okay, let me give you an example. Let me see how the example. A guy buys something for a girl, okay? He buys her a bunch of flowers and a bunch of stuff, okay? So you have two different people from two different biochemistries. One will be like, oh my God, he loves me because he bought me flowers. Another one will be like, oh my God, what did he do? What is he going to start? Is he going to break up with me? Is he going to do this with me? Because they bought flowers. So two people can apply two different meanings to someone's action of buying flowers. And yeah, you don't know the intention of that person. They could say, yeah, I'm buying you flowers because I love you. But really, in reality, that person cheated on you and they're trying to absolve their guilt by buying you flowers. And then you won't know any wiser because you're applying the meaning that they bought you flowers because it means that they love you. No, they just bought you flowers. But this is where the love and the hate and the racism and discrimination come from, is the fact that you are seeing something and you have this gut reaction, whatever it is, an intense gut reaction. But people are like, well, trust your gut. Well, when you have any kind of intense reaction about something, it isn't really good. I don't care if you want to call it love, if you want to call it hate. It doesn't matter. It's not good. And I'm saying it's not good. I'm putting a total subjective spin on it because people will apply meanings to things the incorrect meanings, because what happens when you apply a meaning to something, like you say that when someone buys you flowers and it means that they love you, then you're going to react to them as if they love you. When actually they just bought you flowers, but then you start creating a reality. Okay? And then people have these expectations of a person because they did this, it means this, so therefore I must do this and they must do this. And oh my God, they're not living up to my expectations. What they have said, they never said they loved you. You just put that meaning there. Or they said they love you, but do they really? But what does that mean? Love. They have an intense emotional reaction towards you. They're looking to procreate. They're looking to who knows what. When people get together, there's reasons why people get together. For procreation, for lust, for survival, for a lot of different things. And then if you find that you have a common goal that you're trying to get to, then what could have been initially a chemical reaction to people, to each other, turns into a mutual respect. But that's not something that comes off right off the bat. Not all the time do people have mutual respect in the beginning, because it comes from a gut visceral reaction. When you go and swipe left or swipe right on Tinder, you don't know who that person is. You have no idea their background. All you see is the physical characteristics. And so when someone says, well, why'd you pick that person? It's not because, I mean, yeah, they wrote on there, yeah, they have a degree. Let's say they have nothing written. They just swipe left or swipe right and it's just a face. Well, because she's cute. Okay. Well, that's no different than when someone asks you, well, why don't you like me? And they happen to be a specific race. Well, they can't even articulate why they like you or not like you. And so sometimes they'll tell you, oh, because of this and this and that, but they don't really know. Because remember, they're coming from a point of imbalance. When you ask them, why don't you like Trump? Why don't you like Biden? And they will give you all the meanings that are supplied in the media or their perception of an action. Trump could be doing something like closing the borders because he's tired of having a bunch of people who aren't following the law, and then someone will call him racist. Doesn't mean that he's racist, but someone applied a meaning to his action of, hey, I'm going to close the border because I'm tired of people breaking the law and walking across without due process, without immigration, whatever, okay? They're not getting asylum for political reasons. We need to clamp down on illegal immigration. So then guess what? People call them racist. So that is the meanings applied. So racism is really like the word love. People really don't know why people don't like each other, but they'll apply a meaning to it. And then the media, who are also imbalanced, will reinforce these perceptions. And then that's why you have politics, religion, and science. And so, so when someone says that it's George Soros that is creating this Antifa, the anti-fascists, hey, that is very true. George Soros wouldn't be able to go through his plan, if this is in fact a problem, if it wasn't for very reactive people with imbalances. If you didn't go out to the streets and protest, you wouldn't give room for someone to mischaracterize you. But as soon as you go out there in an uncontrolled circumstance, someone will shift that whole perception. But it doesn't even matter. You could have someone just go out there in the street and protest and call themselves this and call themselves that, and they will create a ruckus, and it won't matter. If there are people that have intentions to mischaracterize a situation, they will do it. There's nothing you can do about it. Okay? And so I'm breaking down the English language, and I'm breaking down how the English language is used to mind control people, is used to drive your reality in a specific way. And it's used to make you think that you have to, I don't know, you have to be a certain way in our society in order to be a whole person. And I don't know. Because discrimination, just like, when you discriminate against food, when you can't have a tomato or you can't have soda or you can't have certain foods, you have imbalances. When you have a gut visceral reaction, physical reaction towards someone or something, regardless if it's love or hate, you have an imbalance. Okay? If you are totally separating people by their race, even your own, if you refer yourself as your race and someone else as their race, you have an imbalance because all you're focusing on is the body parts, that's not the person. So, so I'm going to be writing about, yeah, the love, hate, and racism and discrimination. They're really are all the same thing. These are meanings applied to people's gut visceral reactions that they have no idea how to articulate. It really is imbalance. So when you ask someone why they love and hate, you'll never get the truth. You'll get their perception, but you'll never truly get the truth because they have imbalances. They'll never tell you everything because they don't even know why they have it. It's just a biological manifestation that they cannot articulate. So you cannot trust when someone says they love you or hate you, the true meaning. You're like, okay, great, you love and hate me, whatever. And you know how quick love turns to hate and hate turns to love. It's the mutual respect that you want from somebody. You don't want lust. You don't need love. I mean, babies need love because they need bonding and protection. But adults don't need love. They need mutual respect. They want companionship, but they don't need love and they don't obviously need hate. Okay? But humans need companionship. They need a circle of people that they can trust, even if it's a small circle, but not so misguided by love and hate and by malintention and discrimination, and to where they are separated by their skin color. You don't need that in your world. You want people who you can mutually, because let me tell you, who can respect you on a mutual level. Because I'll tell you what, there's people in the world that I have a visceral gut reaction to, and I'm like, why do I not like that person? Why is that person annoying me? Why do they make me respond in such a way where I'm like, ugh? And they give off an energy, and I respond to that energy, and I'm like, ooh. And so when I have a gut visceral reaction towards someone or something, whatever it is, there is some, and then I'm like, you know what? I know why I don't. And then I figure out and I look at their behaviors. I look at what I respond to. I look at how they interact with me. And I realize that they don't understand me. They're exclusive. They who knows? Like I could feel their energy of like they don't want to get to know me. And so then I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna have this reaction, and then but maybe I don't have those at the surface, knowing that exactly. And then I look deeper on why it is I have this visceral reaction, and I realize, okay, this person will not accept me in their world truly, and I know this, and so this is why I have this kind of reaction. Okay, and that's a biochemical thing. It's nothing to do with really me or them. It's just the fact that we're not biochemically aligned, and that's it. You can't make a person like you. You can't kiss their ass. Okay, but I find people that want to be accepted so bad will find ways to kiss people's asses so they can be loved and they can be cherished and they can be accepted. You know, I'm watching all over Facebook right now. People are posting memes of like this. I'm not gonna say the memes, but they're all trying to get into a club that they're not ever going to be welcome. When you're trying to defend the underdog, be like, oh yeah, I've taken on to this bandwagon of this, and this, and I support you. I'm gonna go out and march with you. When people separate themselves by race, by skin color, and you don't fit those same characteristics, you will never be accepted. Some will because they don't look at race as anything. But when someone really truly separates themselves by race, religion, ethnicity, political background, if they truly feel that that is who they are, and you don't share that same characteristic, oh yeah, they'll welcome you in, but they will truly not lay down their life for you. They'll take your money, they'll take your support, but when it comes down to it, you're not part of their club. And you never will be because you have never determined your own future. You have glommed onto somebody else's fight. You never fought your own battles. And it's very inauthentic, and people know this, but they'll take advantage of you. They'll take your money. They'll take your support. They'll take all that. They'll be like, oh yeah, you're so cool. But it's so fake. And so watching this all over Facebook of people who have no idea what people truly experience take up a cause for somebody because they think that if they take up the cause for somebody, it's going to make them feel accepted into that world because they don't want to be hurt. They don't want to be construed as this, and that. And so they'll find every way to not make it look like they are racist, discriminatory. And so they'll use the word love and use the word hate, whatever, to then manipulate you into thinking but really on both sides, nobody gives a shit about each other when you take up a cause for racism, for love, hate, whatever, on both ends. Because when it comes down to it, you're not going to be there for each other. It is every man for themselves. And that's the way it's always going to be, every man for himself. And the only way you can help fellow man is when you give them the tools so they know how to survive in the society. Not enable them and not, give them the things that cause their destruction, but you teach them how to survive and thrive. And when somebody has bad behavior, you don't have respect for them. That's just pretty point blank. But love and hate, no. That's just an explanation of a visceral reaction, a gut visceral reaction. Discrimination is the same thing, comes from imbalances. Love and hate both come from imbalances. And so that's why that I had, that's why, this is how I substantiate why I had very gut visceral reactions when people were always coming from the love, love, love and the hate, hate, hate. Okay? And it will always be that way. I get very uncomfortable when someone throws so much love and so much hate in my direction because it's a sign of imbalance and I don't want any part of it. Now you can mutually respect me and I like that. But yeah, some of you only know how to express your respect for me through the word love. But it's not really love because it's more of like, damn, I respect that you have this type of thought process and I want that too. And you'll get there and you will once you keep doing the juice. Okay. So, but I had to explain that because this is even more pronounced as we're watching people physically hurt each other out there in the street. It's becoming more obvious how destructive love and hate, racism and discrimination comes from because it comes from imbalances. People don't not like you for your skin color. It's never been about race. It's never been about sexual orientation. And it's never been about gender. It's been about imbalances in both people who cannot explain. And so the lowest hanging fruit is something as easy as gender, sexual orientation, and skin color. Come on. If someone doesn't like Trump because he represents something that they are jealous of, they'll call him racist. They wish they could have that kind of money and that kind of connections. So whenever he puts forth legislation that you don't agree with or that you're like, oh my God, you'll have that automatic reaction. And so there are people on my Facebook that does that. And I call them out. I'm like, dude, you say you hate Trump. Why don't you say just you love him? You have a gut visceral reaction. You have an affection towards him because you're giving him your energy. And boo, that piss off some people in my world. And I don't care. I'm tired of the hypocrisy. I'm tired of the manipulation between love and hate. I'm tired of the manipulation of racism. I'm tired of the manipulation of discrimination. I'm tired of it all. At some point, people are going to have to evolve where it's beyond the surface, beyond the skin color, beyond all of that. And yeah, I got into a Facebook back and forth on a thread that somebody was, I don't know, about, the color of somebody's skin that white people need to take up for Black Lives Matter. And I'm just like, right there, when you purposely differentiate your race and you reference your race as if that is the only thing you have to contribute, that is racism. Okay? And right now, humans have not been evolved enough to even know what their purpose is. And so they live at a very base level. They love and hate. They look at looks. They look at reproduction. They expound on their bodies, or they try to totally develop their mind and ignore their bodies, or they're so into the spirit but they ignore their body and their mind, or there's a different imbalanced combinations. But humans are very disconnected with all three aspects. And so that's why I did that separation of body, mind, and spirit, and then how that translates in our society, in professions and interests. Because, yeah, You know, when you overdevelop your body and you have so much emphasis on your body, or you completely ignore your body, and you develop imbalanced focus on your mind or your spirit, and then you also are aging and degrading. When people are aging and degrading and they want to put out diets and they have wasted energy, they're not even maximizing their absorption of the foods that they eat, and they want to go and put out a diet and say how a diet can cure you. It may be curing you, but it's not helping you if you're aging and degrading. That's the second law of thermodynamics. That's wasted energy. So anyways, so I'm going to make these assumptions that, yeah, back the 1960s was never about skin color. It was easy go-to because it was an obvious go-to, but the 1960s were about people's imbalances, and they were not evolved enough to know how to explain visceral gut reactions. And when you apply a meaning to why you have a visceral gut reaction towards something, that's what creates the reality. I mean, when you have pain and you apply a meaning that pain is bad, that is the reality of the allopathic holistic, and then they apply poisons to your body. When you have a gut visceral reaction towards someone because you have a biochemical misalignment and they did not act in the way that you expect, you apply a meaning, that meaning becomes then a reality that has been mainstreamed. And so I really am very suspicious that the 1960s was never about race. Never. But let me tell you, you know, when people act on assumptions, they will make up a story. I mean, when someone tells them, oh yeah, this person did this person did that. And even when you ask somebody, you can't even trust their answer. Because when you ask them why you love and hate them, they will never give you the truth because they don't even know themselves. They can't explain their biological manifestation. They have imbalances, and they apply meaning to those imbalances and how they respond to you and how your biochemistry is not aligned. So even asking somebody why they love you or hate you, you'll never get a straight answer. So why even ask? Who cares? If you have mutual respect, that is the most important thing. If you don't get respect from people, it's because of your behavior. It's not because of skin color. It's not because of your religion. It's not because of your background. It's because of your behavior. It's how you conduct yourself, your contributions. And that's a hard pill to swallow because it's easy to go to the lowest hanging fruit. So, yeah, I got to figure out how to say this. But I'm going to write about this because, you know, everything that we've been taught, I would say, has been a lie when it comes to history. And then people are being used as puppets and pawns to drive a reality. And no matter what, it's going to be survival of the fittest. It really is. And so you better have what it takes to survive this environment. America is unraveling, and I'm watching it, not really anymore. But there definitely is some smatterings here and there in my community. Nothing like in places like Cleveland or San Francisco or New York or Minneapolis. But I have no problem with defending what is mine. And my neighborhood is my neighborhood is pretty cool. I know all of my neighbors for the most part, and they know who I am. And so, you know, it is what it is. But that's all I got to say. But I got to figure out how to write about this. But you guys have a good day. And when I get my internet back up, all these videos will go on YouTube. Okay, bye.